Okay. Okay, thank you, Dwina M Putri, for joining us today from Belajar Apa and from all the way from Jakarta. So thank you so much for taking the time out. I think I will just just dive right in. In your, in the few years that you have been with Belajar, you co-founded Belajar Apa as well. How do you see, what are some of the opportunities and the challenges of reskilling and upskilling women in particular for the future of work?
I see. If we're talking about the reskilling and upskilling for a woman, I think we need to talk first about the challenges that we as a woman have to face in the working environment.
Yeah.
I don't know, but in Indonesia, at least, I can see that we're still facing the same problems. Yeah, maybe it's a lot of better. But there are some conditions that we as a woman in the working environments, we need to face. For example, like the basic one is the gender pay gap. I'm sure you know about it. I don't know. So if you're basic, and I think it's in Asians or in Europes or in Americans also facing the same problems. So the opportunities is big actually, because if we're talking about the chances for a woman to reskilling or upskilling, the workshops or the platforms is open for everyone. They're not categorize you as a woman, so you cannot take this kind of skills or this kind of knowledge. There are no such things. But the things is the chances in the working environments is the biggest problems. So for example, like I say, the gender pay gap, but the fact is either among the G20 nations, we're still facing the gender pay gap. You know it, I'm sure. And the other things is, for example, another like maybe I can say a pregnancy discriminations. So for example, when you're a woman and you're looking for a job, and the conditions is you're 1 month or 2 months pregnant, it will be a considerations for the employers to hire you as the employee. Or maybe if you're in the middle of your pregnancy and you want to move out to another company, it will be another considerations also. Or like the sexisms. Maybe I don't know. Have you faced this also or not? But I personally have faced this also in my previous company, the first company that I was into. So for example, when we are showing the emotions for our challenge or the emotions and the problems that we face, sometimes we get mocked by the comments like, oh, are you on your periods? Why are you become so emotional? The things like that. I think it's also the sexisms between the working environment also. And I don't know, but I think in Indonesia, because we're the patriarchy nationality, lots of men feel threatened by a female bosses. So I think there are countless studies which show that men, or maybe most of the men, prefer male over a female's bosses. I don't know. Are you facing that kind of things?
Yeah. I mean, like personally for myself, whenever I go for any interviews, one of the questions, after the interview is done, they'll be like, oh, are you single or you're married? Those kind of questions. And then, if you tell them that, oh, okay, no, I'm single, it's like, oh, are you planning to get pregnant anytime soon? I'm like, what? How is that relevant to my job scope at all? Like, how is that relevant to my qualification? Yeah. And then I remember one time I got a bit irritated, with the constant questioning and things like that. So I asked them back. I said, I just asked them very politely. I say, like, what does that have got to do with me being, in this role that I want to apply for? And they said, oh, we need to know because women like to take time off when they're pregnant. I'm like, they don't like, I was thinking to myself, I don't think they like to take time off. I've never been pregnant, but I don't think they intentionally like, oh, it's holiday time. I don't think that's the case at all.
If I'm not mistaken, in Americans, they already make some kind of regulations for the paternal leave.
Yeah, correct. But I not here in I don't know about Asia. I definitely not in
Yeah.
Asia. Yeah.
Because basically we're patriarchy
nations and all.
yeah.
That's true. I mean, in that case you mentioned just now, like how male employees prefer male bosses as well. I mean, I know your position, Karin, right now. How have you kind of like learned to stand your ground as a female leader, as a female boss? What are some, like, I'm just wondering from your own personal experience, like what are some of the skills that you've learned and you think it's very important for other women to actually learn as well?
Actually, the first skills that we need to prove as a woman leaders are the communication skills, because we need to have the empathy to talk with our inferior, to talk about the things and how we communicate with our expectations with them. I think it takes a lot of it takes a lot of things to talk with the inferior, especially the male one. And for example, especially if the inferior is older than you also, that's like a double kick.
The age as well, right? Yeah.
So they're female and they're older than you, that you need to have some kind of personal sensing, so which angle you can talk to them, how to communicate, how to set the expectations also. And I think the important things that you need is the communication skill and the empathy.
Yeah, I like that. That was something, these are actually two skills that I had a conversation with another, woman in power last week. And she was talking about how powerful and how important communication is. Like it sets the tone and it can break the tone or the environment as well. I wonder, like, what are some other skills other than like empathy and communication, kind of like either for women to, become leaders themselves, or kind of what are some what are some skills that employees in any organizations should learn to kind of create a healthier workplace for women? Because the challenges that you're sharing are obviously challenges that women face in general, but it's not just for women to deal with it themselves, but organizations have to be a good ally to their female workforce. So what are some skills, or like how can organizations create a healthier like a workplace and like learning environment for their females?
I think it could start from the open system, so you can talk about anything, exactly the culture of the company. I think it takes a big parts in the company. When we talk about we want to make a good environment for all the workers, I think the first thing is the culture. So you need to have a culture that give same chances to all the genders, to prove themselves that they are a good employee, especially they are good in their role. So I think the first thing that we as a company needs to provide is the good cultures that open for the chances and open for any genders in the role, I think. But for me personally, it has to start it with yourself. I think if you own a company, that make sure you start it with your own company, or if you don't own the company, at least you start it with the your colleagues that around your divisions or departments. At least if you are a leader, you can start from your departments first, and then maybe if you prove some things that you guys succeed to me, something that that will the chances are same for all the genders, that you can duplicate to other departments, and maybe you can talk to the HR or to your boss to make that kind of system also in other departments.
Yeah, I like that. So it's basically, even if you're not a leader, but as long as you are a part of like an organization, you can start with yourself. You can lead by example, even when you're not a leader, like by your title and things like that. I like that. And yeah, creating like equal chances. I read this article once about how, because especially because of the pandemic, then you have working parents, and especially working moms in particular, because the burden of like taking care of the household is on them and all of that. So there's a need for organizations to kind of like change their understanding of what an ideal employee is right now. So an ideal employee might be somebody who doesn't work during like the 9 to 6. They work at different odd hours because of course they have to care for their children, or they have to care for the household as well. I like what you say. Yeah, I mean, like, how else, because of this whole like, currently I don't know whether are you in the office, because I'm still working from home for like the past 2 years. So
Yeah, me too.
yeah,
I'm still working from
from
home. My
home, like
company also still working
working
from
from
home.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, how do you go about taking care, or like kind of like making sure that the women in your company are given the opportunity to also kind of like skill up, while also still, dealing with like the whole pandemic and things like that, like creating an opportunity. I wonder whether that is something that you do in your own company, or like what are your thoughts about kind of like integrating learning into the worker flow, especially for like the female workforce.
There's an interesting fact about the working environment in the pandemic,
Yeah.
because turns out that a lot of employee in the pandemic, they're most likely like working for 24 hours times 7, right?
Yeah.
So there's no another 9 to 6. It's
Mm-hmm.
literally 24/7.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you're working from home, you don't have any time for traveling from one meeting to
Mm-hmm.
another meeting, because the meeting
Yeah.
is as simple as you just turn the button and the meeting is start, like
Yeah.
that. So the gap between the meetings becomes shorter. That the
Mm-hmm.
the before you need to spare the time, the gap in the meeting between 1 hour or between 30 minutes or 2 hours maybe,
Mm-hmm.
because you need to travel from one place to another.
Yeah.
But when it comes to online, it only have the separations or the gap is just only 5 minutes, or even, yeah, you already finished one and then you started the new one. Yeah. You don't even have the time to go to the toilet or to
Yeah.
take a drink, some things like that,
Yeah.
because I don't know, and you're working from home, your laptop is beside your bed. So when your boss or your teams contact you and the notifications is ping, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're talking about the pandemic, is all about the control that you have for yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
the interesting thing is, my company, we never have rules like you have to go to office from 9 to 6, either from even from the 2016, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We never make a rules that you need to go to the
Okay,
office from
cool.
9 to 6. So we think that, especially we as the owner or the leaders in the company,
Mm-hmm.
I think when you go to the professional environments, you already working, you're no longer the students. So you need to have responsibilities to yourself, especially if we're talking about the career environments.
Mm-hmm.
So when you already make a decisions that you want to work, or you are an adult at least. We think that when you're adults, you already have a sense of responsibility. So we assume, I don't know, we can do assuming or not, but we assume that when you're an adult, you already know what your responsibilities is. And when you're in the working environment, and I don't care whether you want to work from 9 to 6 or you want to work
Mm.
from 8, starting 8 or starting at 10, as long as you already done your job
Yeah.
well, and you meet the deadline. I don't care when the time you meet your works, yeah, things.
Yeah.
So because I think you're an adult, we don't
Mm-hmm.
have to treat you like a young or a students, like, okay, so we have another schedule from 9, so we need to learn about this. I think you already have a sensing of a time, so you can do a good time management, so you can have a good project management also for your works in your tasks or in your responsibilities.
Yeah, I think kind of like summarizing everything that you just said just now is that both the employer and the employees have to learn to adapt to being flexible, and as long as you are productive and efficient within the time span that you're doing your work, flexibility is at the end of the day very, very important to kind of making everything move properly from both ends also. It sounds like that.
Yeah, and if you are a leader with a trust issue, I can relate it to myself, because sometimes when a new employee comes and you, what are they doing? Why it takes so long, right? Then, so all I can suggest is, if you're a leader with a trust issue or something like that, maybe you can set a measurable KPI for your team, so you don't have to worry about what are they doing from 9 to 6, other than you focusing on the time that they're taking to finish their jobs. So, but you're focusing on the results, that they already met the deadlines or not.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you mentioned a few times. I mean, like we've mentioned a few skills already, like empathy, communication, leading by example, and kind of like creating equal opportunities, whether it's in the workforce. I mean, like whether you're the employer or the employee. Do you think that there are specific skills that women themselves should learn?
Confident.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know, because a lot of women, when they come to the new environment, they always feel like, oh, okay, I don't want to look stand out amongst others, so or they don't have the courage to tell their opinions in the public or to their boss, because they just think, oh, I'm just a new person, or no, I'm just a woman, I don't think that I can be a leader. But I think it just starts from yourself, so you need to be confident first about yourself, that you can do the same things like other do, especially like male do. We do have the same opportunity and the same skills, but you need to be confident first from yourself.
Okay, anything else? I like that one. That's a very good start. I like how you were like confident immediately. Are there any other skills, especially like with the with the fourth industrial revolution? I know that women do struggle with, because I think I read somewhere, I think it was the World Economic Forum's report in late 2020 or early 21, where they mentioned that because of the automation that has kind of like the pace at which automation has accelerated because of the pandemic, then of course a lot of jobs have been replaced at the moment by automation, and a lot of those jobs were previously held by women. Do you think that digital skills, or whether digital skills is a necessary skill that all women should pick up, or is it just depending on like your preference or like which career or which industry that you would like to go into?
I think it depends on what kind of industry that you want to go, but the thing is, you have to know your patient first. So after you know your patients, you can update yourself with the current skills that needed in the markets, especially in the industry that you have interest about. But yeah, I agree that we need to like educate ourselves, especially in the digital. So I saw a lot of female coder. Yeah, that kind of those technical skills also. If you have interest in that, just go. You don't have to think like, no, the coder, most of them are male, so I don't think I have a future in the coding environments. You don't have to think about that first. You just have to learn the skill first, the industry that you want. After that, you just have to prove yourself in the environment or in your company that you have the certain qualifications, and you don't have to worry about like thinking about, but it's not a good environment for a woman, yeah, just start it first. I think you need to start it first, but you need to find what kind of industry that you want to go. But I agree that digital skills is the important skills for now, especially.
Yeah, I like that, because I like how your most essential skill that a woman should learn is being confident. And you mentioned about how there are definitely, I think there are a lot of women coders right now, but there are not a lot of like women leaders in the coding or programming world just yet. So and it boils back down to either having that opportunity to rise up as leaders, to kind of skill up their leadership skills, but also being confident in themselves, because then we get a bit timid and we think, oh, because it's like a man's world, so it's okay, never mind, we just do the coding and we don't rise up to that kind of like leadership level. Yeah,
because actually it depends on our environment also as a woman. So it's a woman supporting womanizing. So for you, all the women that are already in the positions as a woman leaders, so you have to prove yourself, so others see that women are also have a capabilities to be a good leaders.
Yeah, that's so true. Like we were preparing for one of our lunch talks as well. And the topic is about raising the next generation of female leaders. And one of the reasons why we highlighted that was that because when we were doing the research to create this like Women in Learning series, we kept like reading up on like articles about how women who are currently in like leadership positions, who are their own bosses or CEOs, they had to kind of like figure out the whole leadership style for themselves. They didn't really they had women who they inspired to become, but they didn't have like an easy or like a very clear, okay, this is the learning pathway to get you up to the ladder and things like that. Whereas like men generally have already that kind of like learning skill and things like that. So that's why we also were like, oh, okay, this is a very good question to kind of like ask, and a good question to raise, because like, what does it take to be a woman, a female leader today? Confidence is one, being empathetic, having good communication skills. Do you have any others like other than these three? I think they sound very good already, actually. But
I
from
think
your
it's
own
already
experience.
summarized all.
Yeah, I
Because
think so.
it's the basic skills that no, I can say maybe it's a core skill that you need to have
Okay.
when you want to be a woman leaders actually.
Yeah, and in your opinion, what does the future of work or the future of learning look like for women, whether they are employed now or they're seeking employment or they're self-employed? What does the future of work and learning look like for them?
I see a lot of new women entrepreneurs actually. So I can say because maybe becoming an entrepreneur, you have a more flexible time. So you have your own decisions to working. You have your own decisions for the time management. So you have your own time to take care of the family, take care of the household, taking of the child. And that's why I see a lot of women entrepreneurs are rising up. And I can say, yeah, there's a good futures for a woman as long as we as a woman can prove and supporting each other that we can prove ourselves that we have a same capabilities with all the men. Because I think, especially in this era, you can make a new business more simple than before. Right, because
correct.
there's a lot of startups rising up, there's a lot of business, and if we're talking about a business, it's not we don't have to think about the big business or you have to make a startup. As simple as you can do an online shops as a woman at home, you can have your own online shops. Yeah, there's a lot of marketplace, so you can have your own business, small business, starting from your home. So I can see there will be a lot of independent women, I can say.
I like that.
So, yeah, so they can independent woman, I guess it's not just you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a businesswoman, you can be a woman leader, you can be you can work from someone else also. But I think there's a lot of opportunities in the futures that we as a woman we have the chance to be an independent woman.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Like, okay, so there's a great chance that there will be more independent women in the future. That's nice to hear. Okay, do you have anything like any final words to kind of add, to kind of encourage women to find opportunities to continue like reskilling and upskilling? Because it can be kind of, I guess, I don't know whether disappointing might be whether that's the right word, but because there may not be as much access or focus on skilling up women in the workplace, whether they're employed or returning to the workforce. So do you have any final words of encouragement for those women?
I think don't just focus on the opportunities, because sometimes opportunities comes when you're ready. When you are ready, so just be ready wherever. Just keep upgrade yourself, keep update yourself with all the with all the
necessary skills
and the industries, or all the knowledge that you have to know, especially if you already know what kind of industry that you want to go. Just be ready and focus on yourself, because chance will only come to those who already ready for themselves, I think.
That's nice.
And have a courage to take the opportunity, any kind of opportunity. Just have the courage to take it first, and you will know in the futures if it's good for you or it's not good for you, but you need to take it first, the opportunities.
You always have to take the risk.
And you can think about you can overthinking about it later.
Yeah, I like that. You can overthink, take the risk and then overthink later.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a very nice way to like conclude. I like that, be confident, take the risk, and you can overthink later. I like that.
Yeah, because we as a woman sometimes we're the overthinker, right? Because you need to think about the plan A, plan B, plan C, almost to plan Z, because you need to think about any kind of possibilities that will happen with a small decisions that you make. So I can say, no, I'm also an overthinker. So it's like a reminder to myself also, just take the opportunity first, and you can overthink about it right there.
Nice one. Okay, thank you so much for just taking the time out and sharing your thoughts. A very like I've taken out half an hour of your time. I think that's enough. Thank you.